Scott Schoen here from the Family Martial Arts Academy. I thought I would follow up on our post on being courteous and add just a couple more thoughts. Sometimes we can get frustrated and caught up in the days in what we're doing, and we can show courtesy to strangers, but we don't always show the same courtesy to family and friends. And I know this can be something I can be challenged with too. So making that special effort to show courtesy to your wife or husband, to your parents, to your close friends, to the people you work with, can be very important and can make your life a lot better. And there's been several studies that have shown a significant increase in happiness and decrease in depression when people make the effort to do kind things for others. So just making the effort to do maybe 5 acts of courtesy each day, or 5 kind things each day, can make a really big difference in your attitude and can help you to see other people as human beings and as valuable and not as objects, and can be a very powerful exercise. I also think courtesy can be something that when you see a really high level demonstration of courtesy, it can really move you. I remember one of my instructors, Master Chris Clark. He is a consulate for the United States government to China, and he's a really brilliant martial artist and a wonderful person. And he was in the hallway with a bunch of other black belts. There were maybe 15, 20 black belts, and we were at a hotel, and there was a karate camp going on. And his brother was very ill, and his brother and he had trained when they were younger, but he never formally trained in martial arts. And he was in the process of awarding him an honorary black belt. And so this was a pretty important thing. His brother was very ill. He was awarding this black belt. And I was in the hallway with this group of people, and he is filling out this certificate that he had from Japan. All of the head instructors in the association are signing it. They're putting all these special stamps on it, so it's a really big deal. And this older gentleman, must have been in his early 70s, was walking down the hallway, and Master Chris Clark was in the center of this big circle of people. I don't know how he could have possibly seen this gentleman, but he did. And immediately he stood up and he said, "Okay, everyone, get back against the wall." And when he did this, you didn't know what was going to happen. Was there going to be some kind of battle, or something was going to happen? And all these people who had been training 30, 40 years split like the Red Sea and went against the walls, and I was pinned to the wall, was ready for him to say something or to attack us or something. And he said, "Let's let this gentleman go by." And here this old man was just in his bathing suit. He was going down to go bathing, and it was just a casual type situation. He probably could have gotten around us, but he walked through all of us, and he had a big smile on his face. And I remember being really, really moved by that. It was an emotional experience for me, just to think that he put this other person ahead of what he was doing that was very important, of all the other head instructors there, that some were the same age as this gentleman. And he put all of them aside to let this one man just pass by who he didn't know at all. And I really believe it's because he was the type of person who had a intense level of courtesy and respect, a very high level of this. And he exercised it instantaneously without even having to think. It was really moving and impressive. And whenever that type of situation arises in my own life, I'm really drawn back to that memory. I remember seeing him do that, and I think I want to be like him. I want to be that type of person who is so incredibly courteous. And I wanted to share that with everyone at the school because it was something that was very powerful to me. Another time that I really experienced courtesy in my own life was being at one of O-Sensei Kim's camps. And you showed up 45 minutes early to the training sessions, not 10 minutes or 15 minutes, 45 minutes early, because you never knew when O-Sensei Kim would come. And when he walked in, there'd be 400 black belts training. They all stand up, face him, Sensei Nirei, just when he walked in the room. And so there was this high level of respect. And so we were at a dinner. They had a formal dinner to end. And I showed up at the dinner 45 minutes early. I'm there early. No one else is there, or few other people are there. So I'm walking around, and one of the other black belts comes up to me and says, Sensei Shone, you forgot to wear your belt. I look down, I've got this, I'm all dressed in the nines with a suit and tie, and I forgot to put on my belt. We're running from training to the event and back and forth. So I asked this other black belt, which was a really foolish decision. Never ask another black belt. Always ask your sensei. I asked him, do you think I'll have time to run back and get my belt? And he goes, oh yeah, you'll have plenty of time because you're going to get back here with 15 minutes to spare. Oh, Sensei Kim won't be here yet. No big deal. So I run, I get my belt, I'm back. I've got 20 minutes to spare. I'm like, oh yeah, this is great, I sit down, and about the second I sit down to have dinner, I feel this hand on my shoulder, and it's one of my senseis, Sensei Brian Ritchie. And he's Sensei Kim's top student. And he puts his mouth down next to my ear, he's whispering, and he goes, I don't know what you do in Ohio, but at our camps, you will arrive 45 minutes early. And I didn't say anything. I didn't say, I forgot my belt or anything. I just said, yes, sir. And I could feel my heart sink down to my stomach and think, I have been disrespectful. I have, dishonored my sensei. And as the night went through, I was in a horrible mood the whole night. And about halfway through it, my sensei came back up to me and he said, Scott, it's okay. I know that you meant to be on time, and everything was okay after that. But I certainly was never late again. I never went back for my belt. And again, it just showed, it taught me the idea of courtesy and the idea of holding yourself to these high standards. Even though maybe I was perfectly grounded in going and getting my belt, it makes perfect sense. That idea of holding yourself to this really high level of courtesy and manners and respect, it's something that makes you feel proud to be part of something like that. And it makes you feel, that it improves your self-esteem. It holds you to a high standard. All of these types of things, I think, are really very, very important. Just like when the president walks into the room, everyone should stand. I know one of my instructors down in Florida, whenever their head instructor in their association walked in the room, everyone stood. And they stayed standing until he sat. So, these are just these ways of showing respect. And, the best thing is if the instructors don't have to mandate this type of courtesy, or if you don't have to mandate it to your children, but if you can entice them and say, this is how a black belt leader acts, or this is how a mature, courteous adult acts, this is how a good person acts, to be this really high level of courtesy, and to highlight and compliment those who are. So if, as a parent, as a sensei, the parents who bow at the door and say, hello, sir, hello, ma'am, at the school, I always make an effort to say, thank you, or, I appreciate you bowing, because they're parents and they don't have to do it, but it sure makes a big difference in the way their children view them and see them. And when, our karate instructor, when our teachers at school, when our parents, when all the people that we look up to are showing a high level of courtesy and manners, it has a big impact on us. And it helps to promote courtesy and manners. And all of these things help us to get along with others and build our self-esteem and our confidence. And they're very, very important. They can seem like a minor issue, but they are definitely not. So think about that idea of being courteous. I think the last thing I want to leave on is the idea of being crude and rude. Nowadays, crude and rude is, the cool, hip thing to do. That's what, all the popular people do, and that's what's in the movies, and that's how the kids act on school, on TV towards their parents and teachers. And this is something that we really want to watch with our children, especially as they enter their teenage years, to make sure that they know that we don't give any attention to that kind of behavior, and that it's something we would never engage in. And, talking behind people's back, using language that is inappropriate, viewing TV and video games and all these types of, internet crude and rude things, we don't want to put those things in, because whatever we put in, we're going to get back out. And I don't think anyone would enjoy being treated that way themselves, in a crude and rude way. So avoiding those things and holding ourselves to a high